Picture this. It's the summer of 1975 and 8-year-old Gretchen Harrington has left her Pennsylvania home to walk to Bible camp. Somewhere along her 10-minute route, she vanishes. 2 months later, her skeletal remains were found in a state park 7 miles from her home. Despite police efforts, the case goes cold, and it stays that way for nearly 50 years, until now. This is 83-year-old David Zandstra. He was just charged with Gretchen's murder. But who is he?
We just heard about this sly scumbag ass, pastor who was doing what he was doing. And this shit didn't come out till 50 years later. Now this is a more detail of this whole situation, because me personally, this is my first time hearing it. I just know what happened, but this is more of a detail of what happened.
But who is he? Did he even know her? The answer is yes. David Zandstra was a pastor who worked at the Bible camp the girl was headed to that day. Let's start from the beginning. On August 5th, 1975, Gretchen Harrington left her Marple Township home to go to Bible camp, just a short walk away. According to the Delaware County DA, the camp was held at 2 locations that day, a church where her father was a pastor and a church where Zandstra was a pastor. She disappeared along the walk to her father's church. According to Medium, cops responded quickly due to her age. Within hours, Marple Township police had gathered hundreds of volunteers to search the area. They also set up a 24-hour tip hotline. From the start, Gretchen's parents, the Reverend Harold Harrington and Ina Harrington, maintained that their daughter wouldn't have gotten into a vehicle with a stranger. On October 14th, 1975, a jogger spotted skeletal remains at Ridley Creek State Park. They belonged to Gretchen. Her death was ruled a homicide. According to court documents, a medical examiner said she suffered 2 or more blunt impacts to the skull. Because the body was found in a state park, Pennsylvania State Police joined the investigation. They believed she was killed in the same spot she was found. Though officials couldn't determine whether Gretchen had been sexually assaulted, investigators believed it was a possibility. The killer had removed her clothing and her underwear had been placed on a tree branch. Per the Delaware County DA, law enforcement officials spent the days following interviewing locals and registered sex offenders in the area. There was reportedly a person of interest, but police had no real evidence. One witness did report seeing Gretchen talking to an unidentified man in either a 2-tone Cadillac or a green station wagon. We now know that Zandstra was interviewed by police the month that Gretchen's body was found, and get this, according to a newly released criminal complaint, investigators were suspicious of him from the jump, reportedly noticing inaccuracies in his statements. Plus, he somehow knew what Gretchen was wearing that day despite the fact that she never arrived at camp. Still, the case went cold. Now flash forward to this year. On January 2nd, 2023, investigators interviewed an individual who was reportedly best friends with Zandstra's daughter, per the Delaware County DA. The person said they awoke to Zandstra groping them during a sleepover. They claimed they told his daughter, who said that the then pastor did that sometimes. The informant also showed police a diary entry the individual wrote in 1975, the year Gretchen was killed. According to the criminal complaint, she wrote, "Guess what? A man tried to kidnap Holly twice. It's a secret, so I can't tell anyone, but I think he might be the one who kidnapped Gretchen. I think it was Mr. Z." Investigators then confronted Zandstra with the evidence. According to the Delaware County DA, he admitted to everything. He told officials that, as noted in witness reports from that day, he had been driving a green station wagon when he saw Gretchen walking to camp. He offered her a ride but drove to a wooded area nearby and set up the church. The former pastor said he then told Gretchen to remove her clothes, but she refused. After that, Zandstra said he struck her in the head with a fist. Thinking she was dead, he tried to cover up her body and left. On July 17, 2023, Zandstra was arrested in Cobb County, Georgia, and charged with murder in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd degree, criminal homicide, possession of an instrument of crime, and the kidnapping of a minor. Investigators are now in the process of testing Zandstra's DNA against evidence found in other cold cases and not just in Pennsylvania. DNA comparisons will also be made in Georgia and Texas, 2 states in which Zandstra previously lived.
Man, I still think that's crazy that these kids knew about this shit. This slime ass pastor tried abducting this little girl not only once but a few times, and then he did what he did to her just because she wouldn't take her clothes off. So you did this stupid shit. And now in other states, they about to see if your DNA match other shit. So it's like, man, this pastor was really out here on some demonic ass shit and hiding his flaws through the church. By his eyes. Look at that. Not cause he 83. Look at them eyes, man. Look all dopey drug looking and shit. Like, look at that. You feel me? Shit like this just make you wonder about everything and everyone else. Like, what type of individual are you? Are you a demonic devil in some, disguise? Because they talk about UFOs and aliens, and if you have not seen that clip that girl freaked out on the airplane, I mean, shit, we in a whole new world now.